Patient, in essence, not complacent. Block the banquet, stop the computation. I'ma make the coda, fools just wanna make the quota. They can't rock around here, they need baking soda. This a hydra, no way they taking over. Lay them below the basement with snakes, cobras.
This is Sean Crystal. Catch the Inkpulp podcast on Pharcyde TV Wednesdays at noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Come hang. Peace. Welcome to Inkpulp Instruction. I've got a student of mine, my daughter Zoe.
Hello.
With me, and I wanted to give the world an example of what it looks like to be in my virtual classroom, what it looks like to receive feedback from me as a teacher once you've completed one of the exercises or assignments I've given in my lessons. So Zoe has taken the time to ink one of my drawings from episode 1. When you purchase that episode or join the classroom, you get a blue line of all the art in that episode so you can practice inking yourself. Most of my episodes come with some sort of file asset to help along with the episode. So Zoe chose to do the Robin drawing I did, and she used microns.
I used a 02 and then Faber-Castell Pitt pen.
A brush?
Yeah, for the
fill in the blanks. Okay, I see that. So the lesson was on the line weights, containment line, stuff like that. So Zoe, I see you chose to use more of a dead weight line where you're not thinking about having thicker and thinner areas, which is one approach I discussed. And, okay, so with that in mind, there's a few areas I think we need to push. If we look at the thickness of the line along here, it's inconsistent with the line up here and the line back here. And these are all contour lines. Now, it's true that light would be hitting right here, making it thinner if you choose to not use a dead line. But right here, that same light would be hitting as well. So if you're going to choose to go thinner where the light is hitting, then you want to be consistent with it. If you're going to choose to go dead weight, then you need to be consistent with that too.
I see.
So I'm going to go with the idea that you wanted to go with dead weight and just kind of beef this line up to match what you've done. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. And then back here, the same sort of thing. But the one thing I really want to bring your attention to is you got thinner as you went down. So the weight of the line up here is really inconsistent with that. And what that does is it flattens out your drawing because it's like the thinness of that line becomes aware of the shape it's going into. So that's an area we definitely want to beef up to be even and consistent with. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got a really good containment line happening. And if you're not sure exactly what that is, episode 1 explains it. The other thing, I do want to, let's talk about what you did that's right before I move forward, because you did a lot that's really good and really right. Your control of the pen and the shapes you're making is all very nice. You're able to come to nice sharp points. You're able to create nice sharp turns where you need to, and more curvy organic turns when you need to. That was all good. The decisions like making these hairlines thinner than the line weights around it, that's good too. The decision here and here to go as thin as you did is good. I would say on the nose, since what we're doing, what these lines intend when I drew them was to give the idea that there's a subtle value shift on the tip of the nose, where typically as a painter you'd be making that reddish, where there's the skin and the cartilage, or the skin and the bone, there's very little between them, so you see more of the blood pooling in the area. So I would say those lines could have been thinner.
Okay.
What did you use for those lines? The O2? All right, that's an example of an area where maybe getting away from a micron and choosing a tool that's a lot thinner, or much smaller micron, sure, maybe. But I have tools that I like to use, like, maybe a high-tech C or something there would have been a nice choice. But also what we're going to do now will help that illusion better. Also, I'm seeing here I need needs to just be a little thicker in that area, so the ear feels like a solid piece. Okay, that's good. All right, let's talk about when the containment line goes into a form that overlaps another form. For example, the chin, you did a good job. You faded that containment line into the chin there, which is exactly what you want. What you don't want is this dead stop where the containment line stops and the form starts and there's a dramatic shift in thickness. So that's an area where I'd say we could slowly beef into the containment line and trim it up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then here, I think it's time to start thinking about forms and masses that are coming forward in space next to objects that are behind it. So, for example, this jawline is coming forward from the neck. So what we want to avoid is we want this line to just be thicker than the other lines so that we feel that. Not dramatically thicker, just a little thicker. And that jaw comes forward just a touch. Okay?
Yeah, I see that.
And the same thing on the nose. This, in a 3/4 view, this masked part of the nose is in front of this part of the cheek.
Right, right.
So that's another area where we could beef it up and taper it down to the point at the bottom of the nose. And then that nose will come forward in space just a little more. See what I'm saying?
It's a big difference.
Yeah, and the same thing on this little nostril right here. We could beef that up a little bit. All right? And I think that is probably all we really need to discuss in terms of what could be improved. You did a lot of great work here.
Thank you.
And don't be afraid. What did you use for your signature?
Same O2.
Same O2. This isn't a critique on the piece, but I'm just saying, you went so light here, lighter than you even did here. Don't be afraid to make your signature a little bolder.
Okay, yeah.
Let the world know. That's about it. Any questions for me?
So when I did the highlights on the lines like here in his little cape thing and in his mask to make sure that, it looks shiny and not have like a line around it so it doesn't look like not the highlight.
You're talking about where it breaks?
Yes, when I made those breaks, I went in with a little white gel pen and I couldn't tell if the lines that are still there to have some sort of like shape to them, does it look wonky at all?
No, I think you did a good job there. I meant to mention that earlier. Where you created the line breaks looks good.
Okay.
So you're telling me you made a line and then used a whiteout to remove part of the line. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah, in your video you said you can always use white.
Right. So another way to do it is just, taper those lines out or use the whiteout. It doesn't matter. The effect in the end looks good. So yeah. Any other questions for me?
No.
So that's just an example of the many ways I can help you as an artist develop your skills on the Inkpulp Instruction Classroom.